looks like there might be a little problem with the, maybe the stream key's wrong? I don't know. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, it's showing on YouTube now.
Okay.
There we go.
There it is.
Hey, Poe, can you put some down in the chats for us? I know you can hear us. I think so.
Ooh, we got six viewers already.
Oop.
Hello, everybody. So what we're doing here is we're going to play the new Sandro Gomez demo. I played the last one that came out late last year, and there's a new one out now with some more bosses added, some cutscenes added, stuff like that. I got a chance to see it a little bit early. It's pretty neat. So we're gonna run through the whole thing here, and I've got with me some of the developers of it on the chat here.
Howdy.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm Shane Sparks. I'm the manager and creator behind it all. Ian, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ian, aka Big Fat Dynamo, and I did all the audio work for this game.
And KKM?
Hey, I'm Mauro, and I did a lot of the art for the game.
And Hal for both of them. Damn good jobs.
Thank you.
Okay, let me get it started up.
Oh, Poe, I said, can you put some down in the chat rooms for us, like on Discord? Games headquarters.
Oh wow. Give me just a second on this. You guys are gonna go mute for a second.
Okie dokie.
Alright, sorry about that. I don't know why it didn't keep the volume setting I set just a few minutes ago.
So were we muted or?
Yeah, you were for just a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to get the volume right on the game. All right, here we go.
Let's get in.
Many come to Wonderworld to start new lives. Consider for our tale the Gomez family. Sandro Gomez had moved out as a homesteader in a small town in Sonova to chase his dream of being a musician. Didn't look like they liked it very much. However,
Oh no, Sondro's terrible.
to make things worse, he's in debt to the realtor. You owe me, Mr. Gomez, and your time is running out. Despite that, if you can find me the mystic orbs, I won't accrue further interest on your debt. But only a few orbs fell from the sky this year, and others have been looking. Good luck. Okay, so is there any of the overall story that you would want to share, like these orbs he's looking for?
The mystic orbs. In Kyle and Lucy, it was kind of implied and suggested that they fall from the sky. That's because in Sunnova, they're basically like shooting stars slash meteorites. They fall to the ground, someone finds them, and they get to have a wish granted. But it's a little more complicated than that. It's going to be elaborated on as further into the Kyle and Lucy and Sondro narrative goes on. But that's kind of like the general starting knowledge that what we're giving for now.
Okay. And so you mentioned Kyle and Lucy. So do you want to talk about how this game relates to that one? Let's see. There was a demo put out in 2018, but development has kind of stalled a little bit. I think because it's a kind of like Vertebreaker in that it's like a major project that kind of needs some backing before it can move forward. And what I understand that you've done here is that you've done the smart thing and come up with a smaller project to build and try to build a base of funds to continue with Kyle and Lucy.
That's pretty much correct. When we were making Kyle and Lucy in 2018, we had early plans to include Sondro's game in the demo as a one-level one, so you'd only play up to Valley Village in this, for example. And the idea was Kyle and Lucy are going around finding Sondro's journal and uncovering his backstory. In the hub world in the 2018 demo, there's even a remnant of that where you find a piece of his journal on the left of the hub in a little pit. So what we're doing now is, Kyle and Lucy has grown so large that we need a bigger engine to develop it, and we can't really use Click Team Fusion anymore. It's just the software is not very good. It's too bloated. There's certain things we want to do that we can't do in that software. So what we've done instead is we're using Sandro Gomez, since it has a pretty decent size of existing assets, and we're just going to release that first on its own instead of packaged within Kyle and Lucy. It's kind of like a sneak preview or a prequel in a way. I would say it's, well, it's a game that I know is Bloodstain had a little 8-bit style prequel before the release of its main game, but I think it was called Circle of the Moon.
Yeah, Circle of the Moon. Yeah.
It's basically the same principle. This is the Circle of the Moon of the Wonderworld narrative that we're wanting to tell people.
Okay. I'm coming up on a little scene here.
The boys.
The fellas.
Just what we've been looking for. The creator will be so proud of us.
Wonder who the creator is.
I didn't see anything. Beat it. We have a mission to complete. But it was his. Look at him. He looks down on his luck. I said I didn't see anything. He looks like a total failure. That's a personal problem. Let's be fair. Do you want this? Well, come and get it.
God, it's so bizarre to hear people read what I've written.
I think we already went this way. I'm the pilot here.
Ian, what's the voice actor's name of Master Shake? I always forget.
Dana Snyder.
Yeah, that's what I always imagine Spike's voice being like.
Yeah, I got a choice right here. Left or right?
I say go right.
Okay. So you can see that this may be coming up against a little bit of the problem that I would have if I tried to create a smaller game to fund a larger game, where I would still want there to be a lot of content and variety. So whenever you do stuff like this, you really have to watch out for scope creep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's basically why we kind of went with Sondro first, and then we're just like taking this small. We decide. I think by now we decide on 12 levels, and we're just gonna scrunch all of that. Fill it up with a lot of meat and juice within the small package you're getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make it, because you can spread things out a lot, make it huge, but it ain't gonna mean nothing if you're not making it fun and memorable.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you have a small package, that gives you more stuff to focus on, make sure it's being done right, and to overall polish it.
Yep. Limitation breeds creativity.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's why I love the NES aesthetic. Arietti, I think I'm pronouncing her name right, has been doing a great job with like juggling all the palettes, making sure they work.
Yeah, so I noticed it does stick strictly to the NES style. It's got the total number of colors within a palette, the number of available palettes, and the actual colors for the NES, or rather, best approximations of them anyway. Basically, approximations of the 52 available NES colors.
Pretty much, yeah.
I think we should just give it to him. You know, for free. Where's the fun in that? It'd be a fun surprise. Well, now it won't be a surprise. So let's do this my way.
Someone in chat's asking, will this be on Steam or GOG? I was like, ATM, I'm thinking Steam.
At least for the initial release.
Yeah.
If it does amazingly, could end up on pretty much every store. As long as people are buying.
As long as people are buying, yeah. Speaking of, that's pretty much what Sandro's meant to do. We're hoping that it does, some level of decency, because that means it's going to fund straight into Kyle and Lucy. That's
Back
basically the
retreat.
big project. That's what everyone's waiting for.
We will remember this.
We're like, bye, Felicia.
And so basically that's what I was saying earlier about how you've set this up as something that hopefully will be enjoyable for people to play with and everything, that you can get out with fewer resources, and hopefully the sales from it will bring enough of a return that you can actually continue with Kyle and Lucy the way that you really want to make it.
Oh yeah, because the idea is basically like, nowadays people love games with story, lore, characters. So that's basically what's going into Sondro. We're bringing stuff like that in. I think KKM has done a great job of helping bring these characters to life, especially one coming up.
From what I've seen already, I'd agree.
Thank you.
Our little stupid drunk raccoon.
Yeah, you were describing that character to me. I couldn't stop laughing. Just a little dweeb.
Dweeby Smee, Mr. Smee, you could say.
So we haven't talked.
Sorry. Just wanted to say on the end of speaking of the art, I just want to. We already said it, but I want to emphasize how much Arietti was important in getting this right, because I design the characters and I make the sprites, but I don't really have the knowledge or the patience to do all the accurate NES style palette limits, etc. So she's pretty much the one keeping order in all of that.
Yeah.
If this looks like all the praise of this looking like an accurate NES game goes to her, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Like, I think she started up earlier as a game, her work was like a Game Boy style engine. She just adapted it to NES palettes. I could be wrong though. It's like a chicken and the egg scenario.
But
Yeah, that's-
you're absolutely right. Arietti is the main reason this looks like a game.
Okay.
Just everything bouncing off various team members to ultimately get the real shape of the final product.
Which is why I love working with y'all, because I'm not trying to like stroke our egos or anything, but I feel like, you hear so many bad stories about video game developers, and it's like, how there's like all these problems like harassment or not working together, and it just falls apart. And that's why I feel very blessed to have y'all, because I feel like we have a good chemistry.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't, like, there's not a bit of bad blood between any of us.
Ian especially gets a privilege because we're just friends in general.
Yeah, we've been friends for like almost 10 years now.
The fact we met in New York, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was
That
an
was an
experience.
No, I don't think I told KKM or anyone else about this, but like, remember we went to like, there was like some building in New York, and it was like, we thought it was like a comic store.
Oh, yes. Yes.
We were with the group, and we were like going to find some Star Wars stuff. But you have to like ring the doorbell. That should have been the first red flag. A store you have to ring the doorbell for. So you ring the doorbell.
I'll tell you right now, having lived in Queens, like off the border, basically, of Manhattan, that is not the weirdest thing a building can do to set off red flags.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, like we go upstairs. You know, at first all we see is like a little counter. It has like some comic books and stuff, but we don't see like any toys. We were with one of the guys, and he was like, I don't know. And then we just, I don't think we even like moved. I think we just like turned our heads to the right, and we saw the room spread out much further. And there was like, what would you say, like 20 tables?
Yeah.
Of people in that. Well, I think they were playing like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic the Gathering. And they just looked at us like in Toy Story 3 and was like, new toys! I think we just like made a 180 out of there.
Like, there was no hesitation. It was just like, okay, we've encroached on territory that is not ours to graze. Goodbye.
That was like a surreal experience.
That was, yeah. That whole trip was.
It was funny though.
Something else. Yeah. Oh god, we got to do that again this year.
Oh my gosh, but well, I probably am coming out to New York again, so I probably will bug you then.
Like, so we've come up to the characters you had mentioned.
Oh boy.
Yep. Yes.
So let's see. For reasons, I have a general idea how several other characters would be voiced. I don't know about these guys.
Well, I already did say Mr. Smee for our little drunk raccoon friend here.
So you see, with their raw power, I can make any wish come true. Including madame's! With, sir.
A hint at marriage problems, perhaps?
What do you want? The orb? Oh no, this is property of the Maximus clan now. Oh, concierge. Can you take care of our unwelcome guest? Oh, sir, yes, sir. If you may, I have just the thing, too. As you may, concierge.
God, that's such a weird design boss, but somehow it works.
I'm trying to recall. I know I've said 2 different actors to play Maximus. I don't remember the first, so I'm going to stick with Timothy Dalton as Maximus.
I just want to point out we missed out on the butt wiggle.
Oops.
I mean, we saw it, but I didn't point out.
No, yeah, it would.
Yeah, when he's
I
trying
made
to climb
I
into
made
the
a
machine.
point for that to be seen.
Didn't I call this boss Mr. Bones or something? I swear that's what we like, and we just decided to keep it.
Something like that, yeah. Probably did. No, it was originally developed as just its own standalone like monster. But then like as we started tying the game more into the Wonderworld story, it like somehow just like warped into becoming like a puppet for the Maxicopter.
Oh no, sir.
God, I
You
love
crook.
that.
How dare you disgrace the Maximus name?
I think the butt wiggle we mentioned is actually a good example of the teamwork. Because
Oh, yeah.
because Sparks didn't ask for it. I just thought that it needed to exist, and then Sparks liked it,
What?
and then Ariete implemented it. And so it was my improvisation, and everyone else, there's
Loved it.
space. There's
Yeah.
space for people to improvise. It's not just.
Yeah, that's just another part of a good team. Whenever you have some good ideas, you share them with the rest of the team, and yeah, it just helps the thing overall grow.
And I love doing it because, like, I feel like sometimes my ideas are like a little boxed into my comfort zone, so I like to hear what other people are saying, so it like stretches out a little bit.
Yeah.
I just want to comment on that last room I went through real quick too. So that's an example of some of the progress that's happened since the last demo. Besides the bosses and cutscenes being added, that some of the layouts have been changed too for balance and just overall to create a better level. Because in the last demo that I played, that one room with the two ladders and the collapsing bridge at the bottom, there was no collapsing bridge there at all, and my first instinct every time I played it was just to drop, and there was nothing there to drop onto, so I repeatedly fell into the hole. And
You're one of the reasons why I put that there.
yeah.
Because that's what I like about releasing demos, because I get to see like how people are going to react to the game, as we're making it. It's kind of like a raw, unfiltered opinion.
I definitely appreciate that angle too. Just like the general public's view on it, because it's so easy to like, because you just kind of know this. You just like it's like self-taught almost, but that's why it seems so unnatural when you try to explain it, and you're just like, what?
I'm trying to think what I was gonna say. Oh well, it'll come back to me later. I love this little hidden waterfall.
So that's it. That's an example of like one of the hidden areas. Like several of these places, and I imagine that's going to happen more often later in the game. Is that there's a lot of separate paths and hidden stuff that you can find, and I think that's really nice.
Yeah, like, since the stream, we got a few people here. I'm not even gonna care that I'm talking about already, but, I was showing y'all off the level Beard Forest that we're working on. Congratulations, all 15 of you get to hear this early. But yeah, the Beard story, and it's Beard Forest is a stage, I was designing in mind with the boot power-up, because I feel like I wasn't utilizing that much so far. So the idea is gimmick where you can push into things and explore.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to bring up a little bit earlier too, but we got kind of sidetracked, and I want to come back to it after this scene is the power-ups. But yeah, we've just run into a couple of other guys here.
Gotta let the monkey talk.
Jimmy. Yes, sir. I want you to scout further up the canyon for the mystic orb. Cha-cha, one orb coming up, sir. Here, use Miss Mark and Mrs. Sin if you run into any trouble. Ooh, the big toys. This'll be fun.
Now, one thing you gotta improve on there is Jimmy is based on Jimmy Durante, so you gotta be like, ha-cha-cha.
Yeah, I was that's what I was trying to go for, but I may not have pulled it off very well.
You'll get it.
You need to get that the raspy voice, like you've been a chain smoker all your life. gonna be that.
That old Grizzly, he wanted a snowman. So he made himself a steam-powered snowman.
As for Grizzly, there's no
Yeah,
like with most of the other characters, there's no necessarily an actor in mind. But
He,
for some reason,
stream's a little behind for me. Did you whack Grizzly or no?
Oh, I
Oh well.
yeah,
yeah, that's something for.
can
for
I
the
get?
audience
Let's
to
see if I can.
observe.
No, I don't think I can get back there,
Yeah,
can
okay. You heard that? The people in the chat, you gotta whack Grizzly.
I? Yeah, I can't go back there.
You gotta-
But yeah, so he was also the guy that created Spike and Ballast. Is what I seem to remember, or is that
Yeah.
someone else?
That was. Don't know if it's still the case though.
Let's say that's going to be cutting room floor material and material for YouTube videos and
Oh,
so
yeah.
on. All
Okay.
the changes.
There's a
between-
deliberate
Oh, there you go.
reason.
There's some evidence here of things in progress changing. Just something I remembered from earlier that isn't going to be in the final game because these things like they just change over time depending on.
The entire project, Sparks already kind of hinted at it when he said that the skeleton boss was just a skeleton and changed because of the association with Wonderworld.
Yeah.
This game originally wasn't associated; it was a separate thing.
Nope.
Sondro was a human and everything. And
Those are fun days.
Yeah,
it just happened that over time, he started thinking maybe this could work with Wonderworld, and if it works, maybe we can bring this other thing. And so the entire project and the setting and the lore, so to say, has been evolving and will end up evolving until there's a final release and it's all set on stone.
The stream's a little behind, so I just watched Stealth like fall into the water in the flood section again.
Yeah,
I
good
made this
times.
part easier, believe it or not.
Yeah, that was just me having dumb fingers that second time.
But yeah.
Because there's like this first ladder on the left, everyone kept hitting the ceiling on it, so I raised it a little bit to make the jump be more clear.
I noticed the cow skulls are gone here too.
Were there cow skulls in this part? I don't even remember.
I don't think there were. I think that could have been malicious enough that everyone would remember.
I bet Stealth's a little further ahead in the stream than on my computer.
Oh yeah, the
Oh,
part
okay, yeah.
above the flood,
Okay,
Yeah,
no,
I did remove some. I felt like it was a little too malicious.
Yeah, sorry about
Yeah.
that. I gotta keep that in mind.
that
Nah,
makes
that's-
sense.
But yeah, good.
I'm kind of like cluing in based on what Stealth's talking about.
I'm now imagining, for a hard mode, just adding to the flood section, adding the piranhas and the cow skulls and all that.
Just
Let's go
just
next
blaze
level.
heat mix it.
We'll just make a whole lost levels edition.
Oh, Christ. But yeah, you were
That's
mentioning
how you milk out.
the
That's how you milk the assets dirt cheap.
you had mentioned the like the early days of Sandro. And I'm just remembering, I was just like, oh yeah, I have to replace that panic music because it's 4 years old and using sounds I don't use anymore.
The new version sounds much better though.
Oh yeah.
I just want to bring up someone asked on the chat if the pause bug is still in, and I'm not sure which pause bug, what bug was
I
that in
think
specific.
I already fixed it.
Yeah, it's probably fixed.
We're like eyeing out for everything. But we didn't catch everything, but that's just how video games are.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to get absolutely everything done, but I was in on the process here a little bit, and I know that these guys did a really really hardcore job on making sure they got rid of as many bugs as possible.
And even with you worked on Song Mania, and everyone knows you're like one of the best coders, around. But even then, people still find glitches in Sonic Mania every now and again.
Yeah, it's like hard when you're developing it to actually come up against that stuff, and even if you have a full QA team, they're not always going to do exactly what all of the really hardcore end players are going to do. So there is going to be some stuff that's missed on the way through.
I remember Ariadne brought that a few times, like, because I think she knows like the speedrunner community a little better than I do, and there's like all sorts of weird exploits you can find in the game to like go faster.
It's that.
Oh,
I kind
here
of
goes the
respect
scene.
that attitude, honestly.
What a
Just
find!
like-
What a find! Just what old Gressley needs. I ain't stupid. I saw you earlier. You were too slow for this one, kid. Hey.
Yes, snakes.
This is another boss that was redesigned a little bit.
Ha-cha-cha. So the gals want in on the act, eh? Let's go.
At some point, these were actual snakes instead of weird robot water snakes.
The sprites looked a lot worse because I did them. Cave came through and like touched them up.
Got one already.
Yeah, I feel in some ways I'm like, are the bosses too easy? But I'm also like, this is a demo. The bosses should be easy. The story and the gameplay should be accessible.
Yeah.
We don't want to feel like we're blocking people from experiencing something like, oh, this is the old National retro 8-bit indie days. The game is hard. You gotta get good, kid. No, we want people to enjoy it.
You assassin! Gressley will see to this.
God, I love those little animations.
But yeah, I agree. This is like, I don't know if this is actually the first 3 levels of the full game, but they are the only 3 levels available right now too, so it makes sense.
Yeah. The arrangement's a little different in the final game, but I don't think it'll cause the bosses to change all that much. What you see here is basically what you're getting.
Hey, I know that guy.
Wonder who that is. Lots of people we know.
This is shaping up to be pretty fun.
Ah, you know, I just realized what I didn't do.
Hmm?
I wonder if we remember to update the sound test.
The sound test. Let me see. If you want me to.
Hey, go ahead. See if it has the new songs.
Okay.
I think it's...
Ian made some real beats.
Yeah.
It's
Working
very-
on this project has been very liberating, to put it in a word. I don't normally do 8-bit stuff, so
I like that.
This has been an interesting frontier.
I like that you do have a sound test here too. It's always good to have a way to listen to the music.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the one that chat asked. Have you played Little Samson? I played a long time ago. I don't remember. I don't know if Ian or KKM or Stealth has played it.
I don't think so.
I played a couple of levels, mostly marvel at the art.
God, the art in that game's so good.
I have sort of a bit of an ironic issue, considering we're making a game and all that, and it's that I don't really play video games much. And when I do, I normally just play one level or two, and it's not like, oh, this game is awful or anything. I just get distracted and then forget. So yeah, I did play Little Samson months ago probably, but never finished or advanced much simply because I forgot about it.
I love
but
that.
it's-
I love that line out. Yeah, I don't play video games much. How in the hell we wrap you up in all this?
I've had a sort of problem where I haven't been able to play very much for a while either. For like over the course of about at least 5 years, I've been working just so hard on the Sonic stuff I was doing, my own projects and stuff that I just like never had a chance to really play very much of anything until now. I played a little bit more stuff in very recent days because I have like a small project that I'm on. It's like not bringing in a whole lot, but it's a little bit. It's enough to get me by, and with since
Hopefully,
it's
it'll get you more soon.
hope so. And since it's like sort of part time, I just have some time to do a few other things around it. So that's been
Catch up
kind of
on the
nice,
games you've been
actually.
missing on.
Yeah.
Like Ian got me a Wild Guns Reloaded for the Switch, and I still have.
I did.
I lost it for a while. It was in my closet, and like we started moving, I finally found it.
Yeah, Wild
then,
Guns Reloaded.
And then a friend got me for Christmas the Crash and Spyro trilogies and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. Bless her heart. Like I gotta play those. I've been waiting to play those for a long time, especially Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, that you showed me that lineup. I was like, yeah, that's pretty all right. That's an all right lineup.
Actually, believe it or not, I actually never played Crash or Spyro, so I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I had Crash Team Racing as a kid, but I didn't have the game platformers themselves for some weird reason.
I've been meaning to get the Spyro trilogy as well, because like I'm very well versed in Crash, but know like virtually nothing on Spyro, so that's an
Yeah.
experience I'm looking forward to.
So that's the whole game already. Do you want to go another round? Do you want to do something else? Have it be a short stream? It's up to you.
Uh, well, I'll let you decide. Is there more you want to talk about this game? One thing I will say for the people who are watching, I knew this was going to be very short stream to begin with, and I wanted to add a little bit of length to it. So, after I'm done with Sandro here, I was going to go ahead and play the Kyle and Lucy demo from 2018. So,
I say let's do it.
okay, you want me to switch on
Sure,
over?
sure.
I could use some Friday night. I could use some Friday night cringe.
All right.
I just want to establish. I don't know if we ended up checking if the sound test was updated. I think it very likely wasn't. I think we all just forgot it. But in the rare chance that it was updated, all the credit goes to Ariete again, because
I did
she
hear
would
some of
have
the new
been
music in
one
there.
Yeah, then she's the one who remembered to update it, despite everyone else forgetting it was a thing at all.
Wait, update what? It cut off for me
The
for a little bit.
the sound test.
Oh yeah, she did.
Apparently.
Oh good. Yeah, cause I can't even really hear on stealth things. I have it muted.
I also want to mention it doesn't really matter much for this stream in particular, but the demo has a Portuguese translation now. So
Yeah.
Yep.
because
Yeah.
this is actually relevant to Kyle and Lucy too, in a way. Ever since the Kyle and Lucy release, we discovered for some reason a lot of the coverage we got was from Brazilian YouTubers. So we figured we might as well help that along.
So Evan Stanley wants to know what's the full playtime planned for Sandro.
The full playtime. Well, let's see. It took you about 30 minutes to get through the first 3 stages.
Yep.
So let's see. Let's do a quick calculation.
Okay. Do you want to
Let's
give like
say-
any projected length of the game in terms of levels and stuff, or
Well, as I
Would you
said
prefer
before, we're
not to right
playing
now?
12 levels at the
Okay.
moment, so 3 levels is 30 minutes. Then we'll do that times 3 for, let's see, 3, 6, 9, so it'll be 4 actually. 330
Yeah,
times
it's
4.
circa 2 hours minimum for first playthrough. Probably a bit
About
more
120
since
minutes.
since later levels will be harder, so take more time, etc.
right?
That may take
And,
more time, so probably about 2.5 hours. Especially if you want to, like, explore everything, get the full story. Your actions in the game may affect certain events later on. Depends on how much money you're collecting to pay back the masked man.
Yeah, like a lot of old games. It will likely be, your first playthrough might be 2, 3, 4 hours, depending how well you go through it. Then you play it again and again and again, and eventually it's like half an hour because you know how to breeze through the whole thing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But,
I
you know,
yeah I
it's
imagine.
supposed to be
Oh,
like a
I'm
short
sorry.
and sweet thing to digest. No, you're fine.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, I imagine some of the levels later are going to grow a bit too in length, maybe.
Oh yeah. There's a. I already was working on a revision for Valley Village. You kind of see half of it in the level already, the second half, but I want to redo the first half as well. Because I feel like right now the beginning of the level isn't like the best. It could be a telling the player how to use their weapons and their power-ups. So I want to improve that a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of a tutorial area might be a really good idea.
Like few games I can say probably explain that better. Like 1L1 Super Mario, the Star Castlevania. Does that stage have a name? I know a song is called Vampire Killer, but I don't know if the stage itself has a name right now.
do Castlevania levels have names?
Huh. This is interesting. I was sure that just the other day when I turned this on, I could use my controller, but it's not working.
One comment, Chaz, I loved Kyle and Lucy. What's cringe about it? I mean, I love it. I love my baby. Yeah, but it's just, you see how much you improve over 2 years, and you're like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, I can attest to that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're seeing it from an outside perspective.
Yeah.
Well,
that's how you know you're.
I'm sorry, I just mean in the sense we know how much it's changed and our ideas have changed. And we see the demo and it's still a good demo, but we mostly see how outdated it is.
Yeah.
The title screen's changed, the logo's changed. God, I cannot wait until it comes time to show the title screen.
Looks like I'm going to use the keyboard for this. All right.
Yeah.
Here's your hand, audience. Lapper is working.
Yep.
I think that says enough right there.
Okay, and yeah, there's my save game from Sage. I'll start a brand new one.
That's a little harsh. KKM has been a great contributor as well. It's like a teamwork thing. That again goes back to the teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
What have I done?
You helped Lapper with the title screen that we're working on for Kyle and Lucy.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I've been a bit less hand-on with Kyle and Lucy, so
that's gonna change soon.
But overall, I don't mind the Lapper and Eric taking most of the credit, since they're basically doing what following my directions, but doing the actual work.
It's almost like the in-betweens of like cell animation and stuff.
And in that regard, I have that same kind of like partnership with Woofle, which, by the way, was the original composer for the Spike and Ballast theme in particular that I did for Sondro.
I'll embarrassingly admit that she did that composition based on a rhyme I did for Spike and Ballast. No, I will not say it. I don't think I'm mentally ready to.
Director's cut.
I don't think I'm mentally ready to like sing in front of what we got right now. 14 people. No.
That's going to be the.
No, I know what it is too. You are not singing it.
Oh yeah, hey,
Absolutely not.
I've got to hear this later then.
That's going to be the arranged soundtrack.
God, like the Valley Village theme was started by me, and like Ian had to listen to me awkwardly play a guitar for like 45 minutes trying to get the notes right.
For this demo in particular, I very almost asked you to change a ring to guitar plunking.
Yeah, that's what I was about to bring up too. Was that it in the credits for Sandro? It mentions everything, and I don't know if you wanted to mention to people what that was about.
That's basically me making the. You know what? You remember that YouTube video where it's like someone making the music for Zelda, but it's like red, red, do 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 do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically how I told
That's
Ian
all
how to make the music.
Like it's not really your fault. But then I was listening back to it, and I was just like, can you get like an actual instrument, please? I can't.
So then one day I just like
I can't work like this, man. I'm getting like cringe shivers.
So like one day I just like yoinked my brother-in-law's guitar from his room, and I was like, "All right, here you go." And he's like, "What the fuck?"
It's like, okay.
It was a
This
nice
is doable.
improvement.
Yeah.
Bad
I
news,
could,
bad news, Ian. On that note,
yeah.
my sister and her brother and her husband have moved to their own house, so I currently do not have a guitar.
I'll send you a goddamn like one of those like little tiny like Kawasaki keyboards. Like the really tiny ones, like the 12-key ones.
Is that my Christmas gift now?
The little banjo.
We'll call it a housewarming present.
Is the stream frozen or is it just not?
Oh, I hadn't moved because we were on a cutscene, and I was waiting for the conversation, but.
Oh god, I have to hear Stealth read this.
Okay, I don't have to read it. Like I usually don't, but I've been trying to get into the habit to make the stream more interesting.
I'll take it like a man.
Once upon a time, a boy named Kyle and a girl named Lucy went out to watch a shooting stars. These are the old ruins, Lucy said to Kyle. They're a great spot to watch the stars. Kyle had heard old legends about the ruins, but never believed in them until they found the horizon was behaving very strangely. Lucy reached over. I can reach over the mountains, she exclaimed. Kyle joined her to see as well. But they reached over too far, losing her balance. Lucy tumbled right over the mountain. Kyle tried to grab her, but he fell in as well, into the strange wonder world.
God, we
Okay.
storyboarded that to like be a lot better with sprite motion. Like I love KKM's storyboard sketches, but I feel like for what's going on in that moment, we need it to be in motion.
It was pretty good to begin with. Like I didn't mind the sketchiness to it either, really. But
It was basically a very last minute decision because we were running short on time.
yeah, well, for a demo, I think it's good to show where you're going to be going with that too.
Yeah,
Whoops.
like Limestone Lagoon here. The tile set is actually a later stage Hydro Mountain. I posted on Twitter before. It's not really a spoiler. I deleted it, but because it was like kind of ugly, but whatever. But yeah, I threw it in just because it was variety. God, I love those little robots.
Yeah, I like the sound they make, and like how you actually went and made it. I know there's a word for that, but can't remember. It's just directional, I guess. Where
Stereo.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it seems to get louder as you get close to it, and quieter as you get farther away. But it also changes which side it's coming out of, depending on where it is in relation to you.
I think that's something left over from the Sonic World's Delta engine. I could be wrong. I think not a lot of people utilize it though. I don't think many people realize it's there.
It will having support for something like that does have some overhead to it, but I think we're coming to a point now where there's not much point in worrying about it very much.
Yeah. Someone in the chat said this
Yeah.
this stage giving me Rystar vibes. It kind of, yeah.
It's what I was about to bring up.
Ritz did a great job with it.
Yes, it's an artist you can look up on Twitter. Funk Vessel. Longtime fan of the guy, and he's very inspired by that early Saturn 32X era of Sega stuff. Knuckles Chaotix, Rystar. So yeah, that's the vibe he brought to here.
RA in the chat just confirmed the sound stuff.
Missing that jump.
So I remember way back in the Sonic 0 2012 when I was working on that. God, that's a long time ago now. It's almost 10 years. I can't believe it. But I remember like the wire fountains used the same effect.
Yeah.
Those were dark days. I remember like someone pointed out like in the Kyle and Lucy demo,
Oops.
you could still see in the Joy's control like pop out window, it still said Sonic 0. I was like,
oh yeah, there was when the demo came out, it was roughly around the time I was back with my family, and I have 2 young nephews. And at one point we wanted to have a taunt button in the game, but then we forgot about having the taunt button in the game. But we forgot
then Pizza Tower beat us to it.
But we forgot to remove it from the demo, and so it still had the what's the name, the placeholder sprite, which
like
is
Sonic. Yeah, it was like just Sonic doing the CD pose.
Yes, it's Sonic doing the classic, a finger up, legs crossed pose. And so I gave the demo to my nephews to test out, and they just immediately discovered, oh, there's a button, you press the button and they transform into Sonic. They were immediately fascinated with it.
We were like, whoops.
Within the cavern,
we
Kyle.
gotta bring the taunts. We gotta bring the taunts back. Everyone loved them Pizza Tower. Like we gotta do it.
Yeah,
oh man, Pizza Tower, God.
Pizza
That's
Tower
another-
cameo. Peppino cameo and Kyle and Lucy win.
I wouldn't mind.
The Vertebreaker cameo and Kyle and Lucy win.
A beautiful statue stood elegantly over them with a plaque at the bottom. Bless those who find a mystic orb below.
Sorry.
Aslo. Yeah, I had a little bit of trouble reading some of the letters in this font. Aslo sent to the surface from the Queen's Chateau. Fallen from the sky, they are hidden deep. Find more and wishes it'll be your reap. Kyle's suspicions were correct. They had entered another realm. Maybe if we find these mystic orbs, we can wish ourselves back home, he exclaimed. Lucy agreed it was a good idea. Yeah?
This is another cutting room fodder thing.
There's a little bit of stuff getting changed here.
Yeah, I already drafted it with KKM and how the whole narrative's going to be recommunicated differently.
I just want to give a shout out to, I think it was a Brazilian streamer, I don't recall, who when that cutscene played showing the plaque, their immediate response was, no, the plaque doesn't say anything that the text is saying. It just says mystical orbs and then has squiggles. And it's forever stuck with me, so...
It's just Mr. Gordon.
I think I found that hidden thing you mentioned.
Yep, that's the note. That's supposed to be our boy Sondro.
It's just 3 exclamation marks and it's pronounced.
But yeah, the whole story's been... I wouldn't quite say the whole story, but there's been heavy reworks. And
Heavy reworks to make it more cohesive, flow better.
some characters, some lore changed.
Yeah. But one thing you are still gonna see in Wonderworld is Sandro is a major character in Kyle and Lucy's story, so it's important to introduce him and give him some context because he helps Kyle and Lucy along their way. God, I'm just like watching this and like, oh, there's so much out. I just want to rip up and start over. Oh wait, we did do that. Click T.
Well, I thought it was pretty good when you started on it, so I don't think there's really anything to be embarrassed about having to look back at it just to talk about what it's going to become.
Oh yeah, like Ariette and we were pushing this thing like on all cylinders, and it just shortly after Sage, it just started falling apart because the use of tile lead plugin to like build the levels, and that stopped being supported, and we just had to start finding alternatives.
Yeah, we gotta get this thing in a better engine.
I just want to mention on the chat they're talking about what tool was used for the pixel art.
I use MS Paint.
I believe Funk Vessel probably used some mix of Illustrator and Photoshop, but I think the tool that gets most used is Sprite.
Sprite is very handy tool, has a lot of resources, and I feel like if you want to learn pixel art, that's a good start.
Yeah, I hear a lot about Sprite lately. I think Funk Vessel has actually used it a bit himself.
I wouldn't doubt it. Like I love his work. It's like crack. I've said about his work. I've also said about I know. Trying to remember their name because they just transitioned recently. It's one of the artists for Sonic Time Twisted, and they're also working on Sonic Triple Trouble. I don't want to accidentally say the wrong name, you know what I mean? But their art I love as well. I'm gonna look it up because it's bugging the tar out of me.
This guy looks a little familiar.
I go by D Light Years now.
Was this the person that did the
That's
the sunset
art
part?
tunnels. Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
Whoops.
I want to just take that pixel art, print out, you know, making little like snort
Stickers.
like crack. No, I was gonna.
Ah.
I mean, okay, we can go with that too. Stickers is the more G-friendly, G-rated alternative.
Oh, yep.
Oh, funny story about the monkey enemy here. We just loved the design so much, it just basically became Jimmy.
Yep.
Yeah, it was very organic evolution. We had.
Incidentally, I've run into another one right now.
Yeah. It was the generic monkey for monkey enemy, but we liked it a lot. And as the story got rewritten, we needed another sidekick for Grizzly. So we thought, what about we just give a hat to the Jimmy, and it's the big Jimmy, and that's how that design ended up. But then we ended up liking that design and the character so much, we wanted to make it unique. So something that will be eventually shown is that the other Jimmys now have different designs.
Yeah, I can't wait to show off like the ones that are seen in Iron Railroad.
Oh yes. Iron Railroad in particular is a level I'm looking forward to finally being able to show off.
I mean, I already showed the revision on Twitter.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have the background yet.
That's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, especially those freight cars, huh, Ian?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Whoops.
So that's
Well,
gonna get us a lot of
go back
attention.
And chat's reacting to the mention of Sonic Time Twisted.
And I think that was basically the last Sonic game I wanted to play.
Yeah, and there's basically sort of, I don't know if shared DNA would be the accurate description. There's shared elements shared elements and shared people because we were in the same forums and the same communities, so there's going to be some shared elements, incidental stuff, you know. For instance, the Sonic sprite in Time Twisted was made by a certain artist who's going to have some influence in here as well, and that sort of stuff. But because we were in a different community, but it's all sort of a generation of Sonic spriters getting together in not a Sonic game.
Oh, just say Mystical Forest Zone.
See, here's the thing. I don't think Time Twisted wasn't Mystical Forest Zone. It was Sonic Fan Games Headquarters and Sonic Retro, and all. And
I thought he was referring to all the people we want to have like make cameos.
no, but that's my point. It's like, despite being different communities, you know, we know that artist Gardo. We know him from Mystical Forest Zone, but the Sonic sprite from Time Twisted, he made it for Sonic Retro. So
Yeah.
it's more a question of, you know, communities that had shared members in common and had, you know, the right time and the right places all together.
Oh, just stop and take a look at this wanted poster here for a sec.
Wonder who that is. I actually don't know because they said the stream's behind it.
It was wrestling.
Oh, yeah, so it was a wanted poster. So now I'm at one of the change posters.
And the wanted ones are Sondro.
Yeah.
And the posters actually annoy me a lot because on top I tried to just write some squiggles, not to be specific letters, but somehow it ended up writing to me library, and it really annoys me that there's just like library Sondro wanted.
Speaking of, if you go back to that wanted poster that's on Fence by the swinging, that's how you get to like one of the other mystic orbs.
I think he already no, he got the swing one, yeah.
It's hard
Yeah,
to say
so-
because like I'm behind on the stream.
In the chat right now, they're talking about whether or not this was Click Team Fusion, and yeah, we've confirmed that this was originally made in Click Team Fusion with Riot is the programmer for this too, I think, and
She
so I'd like to take a moment to say she did a very good job too.
got very good job. Where would we be without her?
Like, genuinely.
Oh, I didn't even remember this poster,
The Grizzly one?
the Avoid one.
Oh yeah, the Spike and Ballast. Avoid? It's just a funny way to word it.
I recall when you asked for me to do the poster, the idea was specifically that like they were so annoying that there are posters telling people to avoid them.
They're just nuisances.
Yeah, no, I just saw what you were talking about. I forgot about that. Spike's face in that poster is just the just oh.
God, I wish the stream was a little further up because then I just tell Spell straight where to go to get the orbs.
Yeah, I am having some trouble finding the second one, but for the people in the stream, that's basically the ultimate goal of this game is to find the orbs hidden within the levels, and most levels are going to have more than one orb. You can see based on the HUD up here, this one has 3 of them.
And again, we gotta mention that this is an old demo and a lot of things have changed. And
Yeah.
we know that
So this is
we know
from
that, the orbs were a bit too hard to find on this demo, so don't worry about that.
okay. I was noticing
One
again
we're
this
having
time
is, like,
that it
the
blends.
story-based orbs
Whoops.
will be collected from bosses, and then like extra/bonus orbs will be found in the levels. Because I think we talked about it before, but like I feel like having the bosses hold the orbs helps the story flow more coherently. But you know, this is still all stuff that we're still brainstorming.
And the thing is, like, between the fact that the whole team works well together and the setting is just a lot of fun and the way the art design evolved, we just end up rethinking ideas and reworking them and seeing what works better, because that part alone is fun, you know, just going, oh, maybe we can have we can add a sidekick for Maximus. Oh, let's have fun inventing a sidekick for Maximus and all that.
I'm gonna say, if you want 2 orbs, you probably better off going off to the rodeo roundup.
Okay.
Because at this point in the level, it's too far. It's too far to go backtrace. Like, this is one of the reasons why I don't like this level. Because I'm like, oh my god, I could have done this a lot better.
Okay. What? I didn't jump or anything. Huh. Okay.
I'm sure it'll sync up in a second.
Oh, I got out of the level and just somehow teleported right back into it, even though I didn't move.
Yeah, that's one thing that we were like, we gotta think this over. But someone mentioned it a moment ago, but I feel like one of the things I like about the environment is this game is, both these games are weird. These are our weird ideas. I would dare say some of them aren't even like marketable. We just put things we like in it.
The whole game, the whole setting is built so we can just put whatever we want into it, and it turns out that what the team overall wants is and likes is a lot of weird things.
Wouldn't have it any other way. I think I can speak for the team in that regard.
Like the mouse droid enemy.
Yeah, that was an interesting.
I think I talked about on Twitter before. It's basically just like the ugliest toy train ever. That's also the most offensive one.
Because it's one of the more affordable ones in like
The thing's like $80 to $140. What the hell are you calling affordable?
Well, to be fair, it's an $80 like oblong in a line where, like, if you get a good quality engine, that will probably run you 400, 500.
But just like, we gotta explain the context a little bit. Like, imagine like you're some old guy, right? You have all your expensive model trains. You spent thousands of dollars on these. And you're taking them to like a convention where like all these families, you know, with their parents and kids, are gonna see your collection. You're running it. You know, you're making them happy. You're making memories, right? With all your expensive toy trains. And you know, what's the one everyone notices? The one that's like shaped like an egg and is painted like a ladybug and cost you maybe what, $80 we said.
Yeah.
Not your $500 to $1,000 thing that's like running on full steam power. No, it's the $80 egg.
Yeah.
It's a little humiliating, wouldn't you think?
Yep. And so we made it a point to make the mouse droids the most useless. They are the Motobug of Kyle and Lucy of Wonder World. They exist to go left and right, and if you bump into them, it'll hurt, and that's about it.
I'm trying to think of like what the car show equivalent would be.
So, the design here on these guys, it looks like they've got like vacuum tubes or something, maybe.
That's just
which ones?
The mouse droid.
Yeah, it's just part of like the streamlining.
Yeah, it's the mechanical design in the game. The idea overall was kind of a mix of rubber hose and diesel pan, almost. You know, like
a lot of Art Deco.
Art Deco, you know, like that sort of stuff. And for some reason, what I ended up concluding was a lot of using, you know, the black lines in the design and also stuff like that. Like a lot of lines. I guess they used it to give an impression of speed or something. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not a 1920s futurist designer, so I'm having to guess. But I want to emphasize what we were talking about of the all the design being so weird. You guys just had like a 2 minute talk about the mouse liner being based on some sort of toy model,
Yep.
and it's like completely foreign to me what you were talking about. And then,
Yeah.
Got that by 1 second stealth. Well, I'm impressed.
but then on the other hand, if I say, for example, that the sandworm robots are specifically based on like the 1928 Felix the Cat short where he gets drunk and starts hallucinating, and there's some weird worms in the short, or you know, without giving specific spoilers in terms of designs, but for later stuff, there's going to be references to Crazy Cat. There's going to be references to Christ, you know, to a lot of esoteric or old school stuff that
Yep.
Sparks and Ian and so on don't have any idea what I'm talking about. And I start going, you know, oh, we can make a reference to this and to that, and it's like, what's that? Oh, it's some obscure Italian comic from 1985. And so that's what ends up giving the project a good flavor. It's just a lot of people with weird interests, and we're just clashing it all
Learning
together.
things.
Yeah. No, I have this that kind of like genre clash with Sparks too, where I'm just like, hey, what if we just made Spike and Ballast duo cons? Fuck it, why not? Just plonk one on top of the other, and now it's a bigger robot.
That's basically what they do in the first boss fight.
If I recall the design choices correctly, Spike is based on a Woody Woodpecker, and on like the Roadrunner, the head, but also the face construction is from Karl Barks' Donald Duck.
Yep.
But then the way the wings work are based on
It was some
on,
transformer. It was some transformer Ian sent
yeah,
me.
no, that was the base you gave me. Then when I drew them, they're basically based on Castle in the Sky, you know, the Studio Ghibli film.
Yeah, yeah.
With the robots, and also that Superman short from the Fleischer Brothers.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that one.
And it's just stuff like that, you know. Ballast has got some Digimon in it. There's like a Molemon or a Moguramon, something like that. It's like a mole with a drill and all that stuff. You know, it's just influences coming from everywhere and just
You get a little
meshing it.
mix of everything.
I specifically remember, like, I don't know how behind the scenes we can, like, how deep we can go in that, but I specifically remember, like,
Here, let's treat them.
it was just like a bunch of what if spin-offs, and we talked about, well, I say we talked about, the idea came up about regarding like a Spike and Ballast spin-off.
Wait,
And
hold on. Stout.
Yeah?
You're gonna come up to. You remember the swing that has like the Sondro sign right next to it?
Sort of. Have
Yeah,
I?
like right behind that Sondro sign is gonna be a rock that's gonna take you to a lower path. Just keep going on that lower path. And then you'll find like a breakable wall just before, an invincible. I guess it's just before like one of the circular swinging platforms, where you'll go back to main path. Instead, there's like a breakable wall nearby. You'll just go down there instead.
Okay.
But yeah.
I'm trying to see where you are in stream. You may or may not need to go on the lower path. Or
Right now I'm by the first Mystic Orb I got.
yeah, just keep going straight down, straight right on that path then.
Okay. Straight across.
And it should be the first.
Yeah,
You're
Sondro.
gonna see. You're gonna see a swing. You're gonna see a Sondro poster. You're just gonna need to go
Ah.
behind it.
Yeah.
God, like the fact that I have to explain it so convolutedly is why I say it's like bad design.
Yeah, it was just.
I take the blame for that.
A level GPS.
But yeah, we were like discussing like possible future like I guess games really, and like mention came up as it usually does of like a spike and ballast one, and you just did some designs for them. Like I think the whole thing was like that game would take place in space, and you just went like full Super Robot Wars, like with like ballast in particular. And I was just like, I know
You
this.
You
I
can
know
actually.
this sword.
So there you go, audience. You support our work, you get more crazy ideas.
Yeah, that's the two things. You know, just putting the
And they'll get
Make-
crazier.
yeah, making it clear. The two games we have in development, it's just, you know, it's Sondro and then Pal and Lucy. But if it ends
But
up,
I think
you
yeah,
know,
he found the wall.
Yeah.
if it ends up being a success, we do have ideas for like 8 other games, but we're not going crazy yet. You know, it's just these two, and then let's see what the future brings. But you know, do support us if you want to see Spike and Ballast in outer space.
Alright, in the chat, she's pointing out that she mentioned that the Mystic Orbs were too hard to find them, and I remember that because I think I've like tried to make them easier, and then they were still too hard.
No,
I must have been in some cryptic mood.
yeah, because I guess I must have been too, because I kept accidentally finding them. I was just like, wait, no. Wait, that wall didn't look breakable. What's going on?
You're supposed to be
remember
bad
actually,
at the
but-
game. One of my favorite things in the dev chat is the title of the chat just, oh shit, yeah, we're making a game.
Yeah, that's a quote from me.
It's a mood.
Oh shit, we're making a video game.
And
Because we were like talking about something else, and then like
it just
oh, man.
sunk in.
I think like I think somebody posted like a tile set or something. It was just like, oh shit, yeah, we're making a video game.
I just want to point out that like Ian was bringing up that I did some super robot ballast or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a good example of the multiple influences is if you check the wallpapers we do. And by this point we've specifically done 2 different Halloween wallpapers. And the choices, you know, oh, it's Halloween, let's have them, you know, dress up as a witch, or, you know, as Stranger Things, it's popular. And instead we went with like Gurren Lagann and Captain EO and the anime Gankutsuo and just stuff like that, you know, weird influences that end up it's kind of a calling card by this point of what we're trying to do, you know. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Kyle is dressed as a werewolf, but it's not just a werewolf, it's specifically a werewolf from a Brazilian children's comic, etc, etc. that sort of stuff.
God,
Yeah.
I'll explain one of the boss designs in Sandro Gomez, but it's just too convoluted unless you see it, and we haven't posted it yet.
Oh man, what was?
Ian knows what
Yeah,
I'm talking about.
I think it was this year where you had Lucy as freaking Pippi Longstocking.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This thing's
It's
fast forwarding
it's-
itself.
It's like that's like just obtuse enough.
It's also very European, you know.
Very much so. It's just like, yeah, there's only gonna be like 8 people that will get this, but when they get it, oh.
And there we go, the original Spike and Ballast cutscene and the original concept, which has been changed meanwhile.
Yeah.
where they were.
Yep.
So like the takeaway
were
here,
villains.
the takeaway here is basically that Full Kyle and Lucy, you do get cutscenes of this vein. It's just that the story isn't quite the same since this was like early development.
Yeah, like the idea for the Kyle and Lucy cutscene is basically what you see in the Sondro cutscenes.
It's like Kyle and Lucy is no longer canon. We're sorry to inform you.
I
And,
mean, it sort of is.
yeah, the demo itself, you know, is take it with a grain of salt by this point.
Yeah, it's kind of like a rough draft. Oh, here's something embarrassing. I forgot to post a demo. I'd say since we're kind of, you know, Kyle and Lucy's done. You know, do you want to do like one more playthrough of Sandro's first level to like send it home?
Sure.
While I basically we're basically having a thumb twiddle while I download the trailer Ian prepared for everyone.
Yeah. Oh, did you not see it yet? Oh
No,
yeah.
I saw it. I
that's the
saw
thing.
it, but I didn't download it yet.
Give me just a second on this. Every time I run this, it gets loud.
I don't even think Sparks realized that it was actually supposed to be a smush together of Mystic Garden and the other one.
Quality commentary, everyone.
Just snap that like 5-second clip of you burping and me not remembering the first level of our own game.
Limestone Lagoon.
That one, yes. Yes, that one.
It's okay, we haven't.
I have not touched that in a good long while. So it was nice to come back to it.
Let's make sure I'm writing this post right. No, I actually had to type it twice because I accidentally closed a tab.
Also, we mentioned this on the Twitter at some point, or rather, I mentioned it and the official account tweet. But since we're going through the first level and the intro again, I just want to specifically point out that Felix the cat is in the intro. And
This is the copyright-friendly version.
the copyright-friendly version, it's multi-layered. For
Yes.
starters, there's no point in pretending, you know, Kyle and Lucy have an influence from the design, so we wanted to homage that. But also, yes, we want to, you know, celebrate and emphasize Felix the Cat is public domain. Everyone can use it. You know, you can make Felix the Cat video games. You can even sell them. I think specifically named Felix the Cat. I think the DreamWorks doesn't actually have a trademark for video games.
Yeah, let's hope they don't come chasing our ass.
And I also want to shout out, I think it was all no, maybe it wasn't, who played it and said like, oh, it's Mickey Mouse.
Close enough.
Wasn't there like an actually like an actual public domain version of Felix that you used?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. At the time, the design we were using for my own stuff, which is why he's got like clothes and everything, because it worked better with the NPCs and with the style of the game. But at the time, Felix was only public domain until the 1923 shorts, if I recall correctly, which is when he was still more cat-like. He had a smaller head and visible, you know, cat legs and all that. But by this point, we're from January the 1st of this year. You know, the basic recognizable Felix is now public domain for everyone. You know, the old school one. Don't go using the yellow bag and all that. All that's forbidden. But the classic, you know, just the cat, 5 stars. Everyone can use it. Do whatever you want.
Do y'all think it's time to post the demo? Yeah. Y'all think it's time?
I think so.
Alright, all 11 people who are watching. Ooh, I hope this translation is correct.
Also, just to be even more, you know, that's kind of the implicit message in all the influence stuff we were talking about. It's that we're sorry, I'm gonna say we're a bunch of hipsters. And
weirdos.
yeah, and not only do Kyle and Lucy have, as if that wasn't obscure enough, you know, for mainstream audiences, they're also influenced by Japanese character Doraemon and another Japanese character, Cyborg Kuro-chan, which is about a little black cat who gets run over and then rebuilt as a cyborg full of weapons.
I remember early on you were trying to push that, and I was like, okay, no. Different than story. I like the idea, just wasn't what we were going. Well, I was trying to go for. You know what I mean? Upload.
Because early on,
Oh no. Your
Not
video
uploading.
file cannot be processed. What the hell?
Oh,
No,
the
no.
I know what to do. I gotta use a converter.
we'll take a left this time.
Damn it! I picked that format specifically because that wouldn't happen.
Oh,
I'm trying it one more time. Maybe it just hiccuped.
yeah, that's how social media works. And I recall when I started working the character designs, I asked Sparks not to show me whatever he'd already done, just to describe the context, and I tried to do something based only on the text. And initially Sparks was like, oh, try to go more rubber hose cartoons, but he wasn't expecting me to go really hardcore on it looking like rubber hose cartoons.
He
It
basically
looked
put the he put the pedal to the metal.
It looked like Cuphead. The first designs looked like Cuphead. And so we ended up going, oh no, modernized more, etc, etc. But Grasley actually ended up coming from that phase. It's specifically based on... there's this old newspaper strip which was The Little King. And he's based on like a general from that. And he's also based on the Mickey Mouse newspaper strip. There's like a story where it was like an orangutan or gorilla who had he was basically a Nazi without saying Nazi for the newspaper, but he had like his own submarine and all that. And I basically just grabbed the two things and we got the best design possibly out of all the characters.
God, like,
Yeah.
when I saw Grassy, I was like, I don't even want you to see my actual design. We're just going with that. But to be fair, my design it looked more like a Beagle Boy reject or something. I was like, oh. we can't let people see this. we got Barry at 6 feet underground. Alright, I'm converting it right. I had it all ready to go, and then I closed the tab, and then I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot to release my own demo. You think sweating over for like what? Like 8 hours all day? You would remember these things, but your brain just fries after a certain point.
And,
Sorry.
So just I want to say in the chat, Guilherme says that the designs remind him of the Animaniacs. And I can promise that at least on my end, the Animaniacs weren't an inspiration, but they were basically going for the same idea of being modernized rubber hose, which is why it looks around the same thing.
yeah, I think that's pretty much what they had in mind when they created the Animaniacs, so you'd see the commonality there.
It's like, I'd love to have a bigger budget to make something as extravagant as Cuphead, but first of all, I don't even have a house for mortgage. The fact that's how they did, that still blows my mind. They remortgaged their house just to make that game. They could probably buy like 10 houses now.
That is a scary idea to put your house up for collateral on that.
It was one hell of a gamble they made off. It's as inspiring as it is. It's very unorthodox.
Yeah. Should, like, honestly, I feel like that should point out that there's kind of a problem with having to do that.
Yeah.
Just, but you know, it paid off. So you know what, good for them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Here's a fun fact: that shortcut you can just use the boot for.
Yeah, but he lost the boot for the wings, so he had to get creative.
Yeah, I fell past the boot.
I love how I did that on purpose. It was like, yeah, it's an obtuse shortcut that lets you skip half the level, but you have two ways to get into it. So technically, you can't do the shortcut unless you have the boot, because then you have to get the boot to get the bear claw.
Yeah.
It's still a neat little alternate path, I think.
I thought so. I thought it was nice that there were like 2 different ways into that particular area. And then having to have the boot later to get the bear claw just kind of adds to it. Like, you can get in there with the bomb, but you won't be able to get the next branch off.
Alright, let's hope this upload works.
Also, if you guys are interested, although I'm sure I've already done some sort of that, but since you're mentioning the Animaniacs and all that, I probably will, if not today, then tomorrow, do a little Twitter threads about the actual influences. You know, what's going on my mind when I design characters, because it's basically a lot of something that's not very popular in the US, and I'm not gonna get into a big talk about it because I could get 3 hours easily like that, which is Disney Comics, and they have I grew up with the Brazilian and with the Italian ones, and they have a very distinct style, and the style of these games takes a lot from them. So
You know, that might be of interest to some people. Like, I'd have a look at it. Just maybe have a video talk about it, stream something to go into detail about the inspiration, and talk a little bit about the comics and stuff that the people in places like the US don't really get to see.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to do some streams focusing on stuff like that when the to celebrate when the game comes out. Something I've said repeatedly, and I definitely want to do, is we've got a running joke within the devs where whenever we find a funny animal image, we just put it on the chat and say it's the new NPC for the game.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to do a stream where I just grab as many of those photos as possible and draw actual characters from them. So I do want to do something, more focused and more, this is based on this and this is based on that. Poor Evan is saying that hearing my influences is a tad intimidating, because she's already gotten, the 10-hour version of me raving about this comic and that comic and why I like this and why I hate that. So,
I've gotten the 10-hour version of that too. It's called browsing through your Twitter page.
I absolutely do not recommend you browse through my Twitter page. It's full of really dumb hot takes, so just trust the official Twitter page for the game. Sparks is going to retweet the useful stuff. Just look for the retweets on the official page and ignore all the rest. It's just going to be really weird rants about stuff really weird stuff.
It's like,
Everyone should
yeah.
be free to say what they want to say.
yeah,
Yes,
like,
you could
Skullface was right, I guess.
Evan in the chat, Evan Stanley saying that she would want you to do a thread.
Oh yeah, no, I'm basically going to do a thread, you know, yeah, probably in a bit when the stream's over. Just going, you know, here's a few specific artists from Disney Comics that influenced this. It's going to be mostly Italian people, some Brazilians, just something simple, an image dump, just like that.
So you mentioned a minute ago the official Kyle and Lucy Twitter. If you want to plug the actual name of that, then that'd be fine. Like if you want to plug your own personal Twitters too, go ahead.
I don't know. No, I was gonna say, Ian, you remember when you got a lot of followers? So you just let them immediately know what they were diving into.
Oh, yes. I'm not even gonna say it, you will just know.
When I saw those retweets right after, I was losing it. It's like, yep.
I just look. If you're on this train, you're gonna have to be ready for the entire me.
Big Susan.
And this I just hit here, just to talk about what I've just found real quick. I had forgotten about this, and it's just another thing that I like about the level design here. Since I started playing it, as I play it over and over again, I just keep finding different routes on different playthroughs.
Oh yeah, you found the little hidden path next to the checkpoint.
And there's a quote unquote glitch where the Mook Knight, as we call him, runs to the left, and we decided it was funny because like, oh, he's running away, so we just left it in.
I just want to say
we could have fixed it, we just didn't want to. We thought it was funny.
I just want to say Ariete is pointing out
I thought I did.
and all that because apparently we didn't bother to retweet the stream.
I thought I
So-
did. Yeah.
Oh,
So apparently no one that follows the knows about
I
this stream.
retweeted the one where he says he's gonna start in a few minutes.
oh well. If you could retweet it right now, they'll be able to catch the last couple of minutes or so of it, and it'll be archived. It'll be archived, so they'll be able to watch it.
Well, I retweeted it.
Yeah, me too.
To my credit, I retweeted. To my
126.
credit. Oh. Shit.
Anyway, the official Twitter is at KyleLucyWW.
Yeah.
And I want to say it might change eventually. You might have noticed we haven't a team name yet, but we've brainstormed some ideas, so the Twitter might eventually change to those ideas. But for now, it's just at KyleLucyWW, which is also on the credits for the game. So.
Yes.
Well, thinking about it is just keeping it as Kyle Lucy WW and then having like group name be a separate Twitter that just like retweets boat stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Now, especially since Twitter allows accounts.
That way, so we don't like alienate the people already following the account.
Yeah, that's the smart way to do it. There you go. I'm trying to think if the boss, no, not the boss, the sandworm mech that we see Garrett building, if I based it on anything, but I don't think, for once, I think it was just polishing up Spark's sketch. At least
Funny story about that. Gresley's sandworm mech is like a redesigned scrap concept from Sonic Zero.
Oh, never mind. I remember, nothing about these games gets...
The what?
I remember that the sandworm design is inspired by a 1950s manga by Osamu Tezuka. And he's got like it's the Mysterious Underground Man, and it's like a high-speed train that goes underground that has like an acid drill to bore underground. And I'm pretty sure I had some of it in mind when I was designing the mech. So, you know, yeah, I think the whole process of just using very overt and obscure inspirations ends up becoming all the funnier, because occasionally there will be really something that isn't a reference to anything, and people will go, you know, oh, is that a reference to... No, it's just, for once, it's just a random design.
Yeah. We're like Austin, we're keeping it weird.
Somebody asked about the pause bug again. If it's the same one, then I think that they said that it's been fixed in this version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arietti actually said in chat that was one of the first things we fixed post Sage demo.
I don't even remember what the bug was.
I don't think that's one of them that I ran into. Like, I had ran into a few in the last demo, but
I remember Ari being very specific about a pause demo, but I don't remember what the pause demo did. Or the pause bug, sorry.
I don't even remember either, it's been a while. Maybe if you pause, you just keep going into infinitely to the sky. Oh wait, that's Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. God, what a game that was.
What a game!
I just want to point out something I don't think we pointed out earlier. Jimmy, you know, is a smoker, and the concierge, a little drunk raccoon, you know, is an alcoholic. We got smoking and drinking in Sondro.
Yeah, this is it's I think it's meant for children, but it's like when you're a kid and you discover like the cartoons, you know, in a DVD, and they're like from 1930, and characters are just drinking moonshine and all that. So, you know, it's that kind of children's content.
Yeah. And the game is about paying your rent.
The bluntness of it.
Ostensibly, it is about paying your rent.
I mean, like, you watch Pinocchio and, like, they're smoking and drinking. And, you know, Disney's all like, ooh, we love our classics, buy the collector's edition Blu-ray. We'll still endorse this. But then they turn around and then they turn around to Lilo and Stitch and edit the dryer into a pizza box.
You know, not to get too controversial here, but despite all the Disney influences we've mentioned, there's actually a pretty decent amount of anti-Disney sentiment in this game.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Piss on them quite a bit.
Here's the thing: it's various levels. You know, it's like Sparks adds a bit of anti-Disney, and I go put it on overdrive. And I know we're going to have made it. We made it. We did a good, important game when we start seeing the video essays on YouTube. Going, you know, Sandro Gomez and the hate for Disney. And it's like 12 minutes and hip-hop, lo-fi bits on the background as they go, like, Sandro Gomez, this is a reference to this and all that. And that's when I'm going to know, you know.
We made it.
We did good. We made it.
We'll give him something else to point out, like how Sandro Gomez started development while I was at Disney doing the college program. That's a funny one.
Anyway,
Oh my god, yeah, it was.
Yeah, I remember being in my apartment and just working on it. It was like a very early version.
Yeah, good old days of 2015? 16?
It was fall 2014.
Oh my god.
That's millennia ago. Anyway, has the upload and all that gone well by now?
Let's take a lookie.
just so we don't keep bothering for stealth.
What I misspell?
You misspelled downloading. Quickly. Well, it still has 10 likes. Quick, go, do it.
I'm taking the L. I've already posted the link in like 5 Discord channels. I'm not going to edit them all.
Well, then there we go.
Shit, alright, I guess I'm retweeting
Arietti's already retweeted it.
Yeah, we're
I
just...
unretweeted it when I was like, oh wait, shit.
I'm taking the L.
We're just idiots, you know.
Let me grab it too.
Might as well be
Retweet.
honest about it.
That's a quality product you're getting. We polished the demo from head to toe, but then we fucked up the Twitter post.
I knew something like that was something like that. You know,
I'd
it's always
rather that than something in the game.
Yeah. Anyway, I think in that case we're basically done.
Everyone can go play it.
Yeah.
13 of you.
Yep.
And
I'm just gonna straight up say like honorable mention to Evan Stanley for being here, Vector Sadir, I think I'm pronouncing that right. What we got? Guilherme Mata?
oh Christ, Guilherme Mota.
Zero Gunner, Cucky Dev.
God bless you, KKO.
Sorry, let me just do one last irrelevant aside. But
Just one last flex.
yeah, no, just one last irrelevant aside. You know how there's this really popular YouTuber called Anthony Fantano,
Yeah.
Oh, God,
and
yeah,
he had a video where he was talking about and the title of the song was Vinheta, and he reads it as Vinheta. And then immediately afterwards, but here's the thing, immediately afterwards he says, you know, Vinheta is like a vignette. And it just blew my mind because he knew how to do the right sound. Just didn't think to apply. And yeah, it's Guilherme, not the GLH is Lee. And now you know, now you've learned.
Oh goodness. Naoshi, I was reading the name and I was like, oh wait, that's Arietti. Yeah, she pointed out the typo. No, it's just in the Twitter post, not the game.
We got Surogunner. Yeah, we got a lot of people. We got Assassin Gang. You know, thanks for everyone for being in the chat. We might
gets
as
a pat on the
well.
back.
Yeah, please go play the demo and shout out to having been here looking at the demo.
All the nice people who bothered to come by, you get to hear your name called.
And yeah, I think that's it. We might do. I wanted to do a mention to the special thanks, but I don't remember everyone we gave.
Yeah.
Special thanks in the demo. So.
I know Wolfle, I think is how you pronounce her name.
Yeah.
You got Wolfle.
Lapper, because he did the 16-bit, we'll call it Brass Valley tiles, which I translate into the 8-bit ones. What was your friend's name, KKM?
Font is also there, who, if you were following Sage, you might remember Don't Care, the game that was really hard, and you played as a manager and all that. And he's been basically a playtester for us sometimes.
Pixel Eric's friend, the Ninja Man's, I think it was. And
Possibly.
Top it all off, Stealth for A, hosting the video, and B, hosting the demo website. Thank you very much, Stealth.
That's no problem at all.
Or would you rather Simon? It's Stealth, Simon, either one.
Either one works.
Yeah, thank you for having us this evening. Thank you for hosting it for the link, the demo for us. So I feel like Because isn't it like on Sonic Fan Games HQ, you have to be logged in? I think I realized that the hard way. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, you'll.
So this is gonna help, I think, broaden the horizon a lot, so thank you very much.
And it's the first step. It's the first step out of the shadow of being a Sonic fan game thing. You know. We got an independent site
I mean,
now.
Pizza Tower was there.
Woo. Yeah, no, but I mean it's our first step.
Yes.
You know, having a host that isn't Sonic fan games headquarters.
We're broadening the horizon.
Exactly.
Flaunting just the faintest veneer of professionalism.
Exactly.
God, like this is why Sondro needs to work, because it's like the baby step. I have faith though. I have faith.
Yeah. This is turning out to be a great game, and I think if we can get it in front of all of the right people, then it should bring the kind of success that will allow Kyle and Lucy and future games to take off.
Yeah, we gotta get KKM as Sandro Funko Pop.
We gotta pay my rent first of all, though.
Yeah, that's the ulterior motive here.
It's
Very-
pay for rent and Funko Pops.
Very, very important. Like a lot of people who watch me know about that. Like how like I compared the situation between Vertebreaker and Kyle and Lucy, and how Kyle and Lucy is like kind of the Vertebreaker of these guys, where it's becoming quite a big thing, and it's going to need a lot of support to be able to push through. So for something like that, you need the finances, and Sandro here is where they're going to be coming from for a start.
Oh yeah, like it's baby steps, because we realized early on it's just we don't have the resources to do these things, so we got to take it a different step.
Yeah.
It was kind of I don't want to be mean or anything, but Sondro's already kind of beginning as Vertebreaker was coming out, so we kind of just saw that unfold. We were like, oh.
Ooh. Yeah, it's
So I still love Vertebreaker. I definitely want to see y'all complete that someday. Heck, maybe we'll get to help you out on that. Time will tell.
maybe.
That'd be fun.
Get down for that.
That Sonic Crackers X Physics. I was like, oh my god, we need to design a level for this. It's fun. Like, I for what y'all did in that time frame, I will give y'all definitely the praise.
Yeah. That's it's a very unique play style that definitely needs some time.
But that's
Yeah.
what marinating is. You're making something good just with time and polish.
Yeah.
Needs a
Just
little
gotta put-
time, a little bit of love. Somehow, some way, you always manage to find a way.
Anyway, Stealth, whenever you want to stop the stream, you better, take control, because otherwise we're just trying to
Okay.
keep chit-chatting.
Any last
Yeah.
questions still?
Not from me really, I don't think. Any questions from the chat, or is there anything that you guys would like to point out? Like, I could also go back into the game to point a specific thing out if you'd like to have it gone over.
Let's see what they got to say. Also, welcome Sharp, a little late to the party, but we're always happy to have you.
And shoutouts to Evan for wanting to draw Sondro.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know a lady who would be very happy.
She already...
Yeah, you do.
She in
Don't think I forgot about that, by the way. That was the most delightful thing I've ever read.
that review.
But I just want to give the shout out because a couple of we released Kyle and Lucy. Evan also drew us a nice little Kyle, which helps,
I love
know,
that cow was so adorable.
and it helps on social media, and it our egos. So chat, if you don't have any questions.
Okay, let's be a little modest here.
No, please, no. Hold on, let me finish. Chat. if you don't have any questions, please feed our egos and go draw fan art.
Yes,
Because
I'll also advocate this.
it's being fun. Don't worry. Like, oh, I can't draw.
But not the other kind
Draw.
of fan art. Not the other kind.
No, any kind of fan art.
No.
Any kind of fan art. No, but being
Go away,
honest.
DeviantArt. Go away, DeviantArt.
No, but seriously, even if you're
all
like,
press is good press.
Yeah.
no, but even beyond that, my point is that even if you're like, well, as creators, it's always great to see. So just go and draw and have fun and send us whatever you're drawing.
Yeah.
And
So
it's always going to be fun to look at.
we got a few fan drawings for Vertebreaker too. We really enjoyed that, and it is a very good way to help spread the word about the game, get it out there in front of more people, for people to retweet the tweets about it, to draw fan art about it, and just spread that around. It'll get in front of people. They'll wonder what it's about. They'll come have a look, and we'll grow a bigger audience here.
That's why I gotta give Vertebreaker the Kyle and Lucy cameo.
Oh yeah, there's going to be like 500 cameos on Kyle and Lucy. Everyone from Felix the Cat to obscure Sonic fan character from 2002.
Akuma.
Yeah, Akuma the Hedgehog. Shout outs to Akuma the Hedgehog, who will be, and with a lot of respect, and also shout outs to the Galaga level we're going to make, and the RPG spin-off, and the arcade game. And
Do we get Maddie, whatever his name is, the admin from Sonic Vegemite?
Oh my god. We brought
it.
Yeah,
that's-
because you showed me. Oh, what was it? I think it was
The
Oh,
hoaxes I used to make.
yeah, you showed me one. I was just like, I've seen this before. I saw this like 10 years ago. I was just, that was my "who do you think you are" moment. It was just like, wait, no, that's not. You didn't make that. No way.
Yeah, I was just like, I remember I'd like make hoaxes way back in the day. I'd post them on Sonic Vegemite, I'd post them on Sonic Retro back when it was like Simon Y, Sonic 2 Beta, and I remember I'd see like Sonic Project Meatrix. Is that how you pronounce it, Stealth?
I've always pronounced it Metrix. It was
Metrix?
yeah. It was named by the other developer, Ron Echidna, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it out loud, so I've just called it Metrix.
God, like, I think that was like my first exposure to your work, because I remember like I played the demo all the time. Somehow I managed to get the Guardian Castle level working. I don't even know if you remember that.
If I remember the level, I do.
Yeah, because it had like you had to find the 3 egg robos, and there was like a little night boss at the end.
Yeah.
And I think there's like maybe 1 or 2 videos of that on YouTube tops. That's just how little known it is.
I can't remember. I think I did a stream semi-recently that had some of that stuff on it. I can't remember if I played that level on it.
Yeah, that was like an early inspiration for like me dwelling the fan games and ROM hacks, and it's just funny to think how that's a little seed to where we are today.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I really enjoy hearing people come in with that too. Like, apparently I've inspired several people, but it's a very nice thing to hear.
It's just like it just shows how much the flow of inspiration is going in the fandom nowadays. Like this very small pocket of Sonic fan gamers slash, slowly blooming to indie developers. And I always find it interesting because it's a little pocket separate from the Sonic fandom, the rest of it.
Yeah.
You rarely see the two converging.
And it's not really like a gatekeeping thing. It's just
different.
this specific group, like the specific subgroup of this group of people.
Well, yeah, it's more like where you want to go with your work and stuff, and what you feel comfortable with. It's like if you run into all the right stuff, then you'll find that you can do some of this. Pretty much anybody can. You just need the right resources and stuff.
Sharp in the chat says, "Do you guys accept compliments?" I mean, sure.
I don't mind.
It's always flattering, you know. It lets us know what people like.
Yeah, that's fair. Look, all I'm gonna say is I will know I have made it if tech remixes my work. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm surprised no one's remixed the Count Lucy songs yet.
I think it's what you were saying, because it's just like, you know, the Kyle and Lucy demo was only on Sonic Fan Games HQ, and what you said, you have to be logged in to really access that bit.
Yeah, I think I learned that fairly recently, and
It's like,
it's
oh,
like
now
now
I
that,
understand.
and now the demo's so old, it's like I don't even want to put it on a website like what were we talking about? Indie.co or whatever.
Itch.io.
Yeah, Itch.io.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I think so.
Yeah, at some point, Sandro's gonna be wrapping up. We're gonna start putting the pedal back to the metal and Count and Lucy. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I think there's a very long trail ahead of us.
Yeah.
Well, I know I'm definitely looking forward to all the stuff that's going to come out of this.
I can't wait for people to start unraveling the story. I just love like hearing people like just take joy in like narratives. I guess I've just always been a storyteller, and I'm really eager to like share with other people.
That's what gets you, doesn't it? It's just really the matter of like you are kind of making it for your own enjoyment, of course. Like there's always going to be that aspect, but seeing other people react to it, just other people having a fresh view of something that, you know, has just kind of been a constant in your life for years, and experiencing it in that way is just like,
I know what you're referring to, and oh yeah, that's what he's referring to. We will not mention it here.
What? I'm confused. No, I'm saying that as a general. I think I figured out what you're talking about, and I was just saying that as a general statement.
Okay.
It's just like, no. It's like...
That's a far off.
But
branch.
if it's what you, if it's what you think it is, that's hilarious.
Oh, trust me, they'll figure it out once. They'll figure out what we're up to sooner or later.
Perhaps.
I mean, all 10 of them.
Those dastardly kids and their.
Yeah. I keep forgetting we have like a little clique of fellas here.
Well, over time, more people will see this.
Yeah, we'll see like 10 years from now, there'll be like a huge fandom. They'll like be data mining the internet for like old resources. They'll like find this video. Hello, 2030. Have the ice caps melted yet?
Is it Waterworld yet?
Have you? No, Ian. You always forget. We're colonizing Antarctica. We're just gonna move. It'll be a nice new country.
But isn't that where the old ones and the giant penguins and all the Tekelili stuff is? So.
There's nothing in Antarctica right now.
Now there you go. Sharp promises to help spread the word.
Oh well, thank you.
Thank you. And we already got at least one positive response on Twitter about having a translation. That's also good.
Yeah.
There's 31 likes so far and 15 retweets, so it's not bad.
I'm just so amused that we have that big of an audience in that particular region too.
And it's it's not like we're we're not big in Japan, so to say. It's like not like Brazil goes crazy for us. But it's just amusing that of the fan base we have, a decent amount is coming from Brazil for some reason.
Right.
I'm sure once Kyle and Lucy are in the spotlight again, we'll get more of that popularity from Japan.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There she says, how long till people dad mine the Sandro Gomez demo? Was there a lot of data mining for the original version of Freedom Planet? Because that was built in Click Team Fusion. Isn't it like kind of difficult to break open?
Here's the thing, we know there's at least one guy hacking the original Kyle and Lucy demo.
But he only did that because of the TileLed plugin.
But shoutouts to that one guy. So we know there's decent odds of eventually someone managing to break down the Sandro Gomez demo.
I think that, as of right now, there still isn't a really good tool for cracking open Fusion games.
All they're gonna find a lot of fat and crap.
So
which is funny.
Again.
But then again, aren't the original version of like the Five Nights at Freddy's games made in Click Team Fusion have people like data mine that to a degree, or is it just like there's more determination from the Five Nights at Freddy's fandom?
Yeah, I think it must have something to do with that, because over time when they keep releasing new versions of Fusion, they keep changing how things are stored too. So there are a few non-Freddy games that the Freddy tools will work on, but not many.
I just find that funny. He made all his 3D renders and stuff, and then he compiles the game in Click Team Fusion. That's a bizarre concept to me.
I'm trying to remember, was it Fusion or was it Game Maker?
No, it was Fusion, because I remember I'd load up Fusion.
Undertale. Undertale was
Game Maker. Wonder how Deltarune's doing. I think he showed like a new hub world or something recently, but that was like about it.
Oh, you mean back when he showed?
He's been working on Smash Brothers and Pokemon.
Yeah.
Look forward for Kyle and Lucy on Smash Bros.
Oh yeah, we'll be a spirit sticker.
We're gonna go to Sakurai's house and play with him.
You only get to be in Smash and beat him though. I'm not good at Smash him. We got a problem. Ain't y'all good at Smash Brothers?
I'm good in the company of people who aren't very good.
We gotta beat Sakurai.
Also, I want to give shoutouts to year 2045 or 47. When you've got Sondro Retro and Sondro Fan Games headquartered. Shoutouts to you guys from the past. When you end up developing to hack all these games from the past and do your own weird hacks.
I'll eat my hat when that happens.
Sandro Megamix is coming. It's coming.
Exactly.
Kyle Lucy Mania.
Kyle and Lucy, the more rings they eat, the fatter they get.
I told you to keep DeviantArt out of here.
I'm just enjoying the the Megamix concept, just because I'm imagining just brand new levels, but with music tracks from Bugsy or something.
And no matter how much you change the level art, you can still tell it's Spring Yard. I'm sorry if that hit a little too close to home still.
Nah.
I love Sonic 1 hacks, but you can always tell it's like Green Hill or Spring Yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, but Ian just made me imagine, Pantufa the Cat in Kyle and Lucy, and it's just going to be playing Portuguese pop music.
Yeah, keep track of what's in the public domain.
Yeah, when you in particular suggest music references, it's always a trip because I have not the faintest idea of what to expect.
That's what makes it fun.
Here's the thing, I've only so far seen like one music, maybe two. What I enjoy doing is just pretend I'm seriously asking for music and just go like, oh, and I want the music to sound like, like this, and I send like some 17th century Vivaldi song crossed with this, and it's like South African 1960s hip hop, and crossed with, and
See, that's a dangerous thing to do because you know for a fact I'm gonna look at that and think, all right, sure, all right, whatever.
The whole gag is I just like imagining Ian getting links and going like, what am I supposed to do with this?
And then Ian links me something from Turkin.
Because of course
I just end up finding that very fun, and I really hope you don't take it seriously because I don't have the means to pay you in case you make anything. Please do not.
Pay me royalties, motherfucker.
Please do not actually make any music from my suggestions.
Well, that's the thing, because like the concierge is actually the result of that, because I think that was a mix between you and Sparks, because you linked I think maybe 3 different songs about drinking, and and then initially I think Sparks just linked the TikTok croc theme from Peter Pan. I was just like, all right, just that very sharp, deep bassoon.
I don't think K Camera still ever saw the conversations where I just screen capped every other frame from Peter Pan where it's just Captain Hook making a bizarre face.
Yeah, that was a fun 6 hours of you DMing me literally every single expression that character makes and just being like, you know what, yeah.
It's not at all.
It's always like the ones where he's just freaking out.
You know what that reminds me, and I can kind of imagine it was similar, but it wasn't about Sandro Gomez. But one time I was watching the Howard the Duck movie, and for some reason I just kept screenshotting it and sending it to Evan Stanley, and she just eventually logged into Discord and had 100 screenshots of Howard the Duck.
Oh no, she came back to it?
And that's what I'm imagining. You logged in and just saw
Well, no, because I didn't come back to it. I was on my phone. I think I was doing work. So every once in a while, about a stoplight, my phone goes off. I look down, and there's another fucking picture of Captain Hook.
So Ian, what was it that you were driving to Target in, and I specifically added you to look at, and you pulled over?
It was like a drawing of Andrew Dobson as a Crash Bandicoot character.
Oh yeah, it was inflation.
What was the other? I made a Twitter post about it that was just a screen cap that you had posted something. I can't remember what it was, and I think my response was just, please, I'm just trying to eat my spaghetti in peace.
Was it the other Crash Bandicoot fan character?
No, I think this was before that.
It was a little spaghetti, I don't remember.
Oh man, hang on.
Which reminds me, speaking of Twitter posts, at some point we just gotta compile all the new Wonderworld NPC characters we joked about.
Yeah.
Every time there's just something weird we find on Twitter, we just post it in the chat, new Wonderworld NPC. One was was it an alpaca or a llama? It had a weird hairdo, and we just made into a Brass Valley NPC.
Yeah, it was an alpaca. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
I remember I called out that 41 Stranger Things post because they posted it twice. I was like, you can't do this. You posted this already. We have
Hold
fun
on.
here, Stealth. We have
Yeah.
a lot of weird fun here.
Or Stealth is just like stunned at all the tomfoolery that's gone.
I'm just
No,
listening.
the second I thought of A, joining the stream, and B, inviting Ian, I knew it was gonna be a wacky time.
I don't know how revealing this is, but you had mentioned that you were doing the stream, and we were like, you just typed in crossed out letters, "We get to annoy a Sonic Mania dev." It was just like, well, I can't not do this now.
In
it's
reality,
all-
those
It's all in good fun, though.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
in reality those posters, you know, saying avoid Spike and they're actually about us.
Wait, the what about us?
The avoid poster.
I love that.
Huh, I wonder who that's for.
I'm sorry, my computer's lagging a bit. I'm gonna link you here something, and please hold on.
Oh no.
I want. Okay. I'm gonna link you here something, and please post it on the chat on the stream.
This is what you said, Evan Stanley. My condolences.
Also,
She
real
did.
quick.
I'm sure if Ian saw me send something like that to him, I think he'd think I just gotten drunk.
Man. No, I just read the thread. Evan just said, a memory better left behind.
It's
Also-
okay. We get to see your pain now.
Also, I've had the stream on mute, but based entirely on the numbers on the sound test, and just the fact that you've just been listening to us. I think Stealth has just been listening to the Big Jimmy theme for the last 20 minutes.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
think
Alrighty
so.
said in the chat that was her favorite one, and that's how I felt when I heard it first time too.
Well, thank you. There was another one where I saw the character. No, sorry, go on.
I was to say it's a boot.
Yeah, that was one of those where I just saw the character it was for. It was just like, okay, yeah, I'm doing that with them.
You know what this reminds me of, Ian? Remember, no one in chat's gonna know who this is, but remember, like, we were talking to Ricky, and he was basically like saying, like, the Kamek theme from Super Mario World 2 is basically a very shitposty song.
Yeah.
It's basically just the music you play when politicians are trying to figure out what to do after a terrorist attack.
I just remember reading. I just remember reading something like terrible, and then that was just very quietly in the background for the whole duration, and I was just losing it the entire time.
Which reminds me, we gotta put Lewis and Ricky in the game.
Yeah.
God, that's a story we have to unfold another day.
Yeah.
I can't seem to figure out how to get that picture to show from the browser, so I guess everybody's spared from it.
Well, that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
No, don't spare Evan, please. I think she's
Okay.
And I want you to notice that's like from near the climax. So, you know, imagine like another hour of just screenshots.
Gosh.
Well, we've gone over 2 hours and 15 minutes here, so
Yeah, I think,
is
I
there?
think we've rambled enough.
Christ.
Yeah. Not that I,
Absolutely,
I think that just
absolutely
shows
kick
how-
us out.
not that I mind. You guys are welcome here. I'm having fun
I
myself.
think that just shows how overdue a conversation like this was, because I don't think we've ever properly voice called prior to this.
No, never. Honestly, it would you and I have done it plenty of times, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't think I've talked to a single team member at all since I joined.
Would you guys, the chat says, Sharp, would you guys feel insulted if I thought that this was Game Maker versus,
Tomato.
Yeah, it's made on on Fusion, which is basically just an alternative. So no, there's
Maybe Sondro can be made on something else and be on consoles like Switch and Xbox One and PlayStation 4. ...
Be nice to see that eventually.
I know I've got family asking for a PS4 version. Because they don't have.
Gotta hand out the copies of family. Goodness.
Yeah, exactly. I've already gotten the request, so
Did you get to do that with
Never
Sonic
played.
Mania Stealth? Like hand out copies to like family and friends?
Well, I don't
Or is it-
actually live very near family or friends, so
Mm. So I know. Every now and again, my sister's like bugging me for like a Kyle and Lucy shirt, and then somehow, I told you all this before. I work at a restaurant. That's how I basically finance all this. Somehow, my sister was talking to my boss, and my boss caught word of the game, and she's like, "I want a shirt now." And she insisted like I will be the second person to get a shirt.
maybe you should make a call out about find out who wants merchandise already. Because if you could get some merchandise to start moving, that would also help push Sandro and Kyle and Lucy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm sure if my sister's like, "I'll be your model and everything," I was like, okay. But we'll figure it out.
we do have vague ideas, for the very the very obvious and simple merchandise stuff. Like we can sell the soundtrack, we can sell maybe an art book or something. We've got vague ideas for that, but we do have to eventually think about more merchandise, because I've said this before, that a lot of the appeal of the whole Wonderworld project is the characters.
Yeah, you guys are setting up to be in a real good position for merchandising.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
What has
We got
what
cute
has
ads, cool cowboy, drunk raccoon.
what else can we learn from Walter, not to merchandise our lovable characters? So
God, the concierge is gonna be our punchline forever, isn't he? Drunk raccoon.
I love that.
we got the drunk raccoon, robot Jimmy Durante. We got a furry Castlevania Dracula. We
God,
got
like, no one will ever know how that came to be.
we got tall green Woody Woodpecker. So
We got it all. We got all of our friends cameoing, from Akuma the Hedgehog.
I actually feel slightly offended that I described Spike right now as a tall Woody Woodpecker instead of as Scratch and Grounder.
No, we everyone's gonna
No,
think that.
that's the point.
I actually feel kind of.
Everyone's gonna think that, but I think when they see the full story, they're gonna like the characters a lot more.
Yeah. I think,
We fleshed them out, gave them dimension, basically.
yeah.
And I think people are gonna appreciate that.
Anyway, yeah, please stealth, kick us out, or we're just gonna continue on for hours.
All right. Is there anything else you guys would like to say about the game, about how this stuff is going to develop? Just anything you want to say about any of that to whoever might be watching?
Well, right now, as I said, the plan is we're gonna make Sondro. We're gonna sell that. Hopefully, with everyone's support, that's gonna fund Kyle and Lucy. And worst case scenario, maybe we'll have to do a Kyle and Lucy Kickstarter. I think Sondro will be able to float on its own. But all I can ask is that everyone supports our work, so that we can keep doing what we're doing and keep entertaining people. Just bringing out high quality games with high quality stories, stuff you can really sink your teeth into.
And and you don't have to. Even when the game comes out, we're obviously you buy your. But I don't know about Sparks and all that. I'd feel a bit guilty if you bought the game, like, oh, I'm not in the game, but it's going to fund Kyle and Lucy, so I'm going to buy it. And it's like, no, buy it for itself.
Yeah, even if you like it on its own.
But even if you can't buy the game or anything, you know, retweet and spread around and tell people, and all that is support, and all that is useful and helpful.
Always very important. Make absolutely sure that anything that you really want to see get anywhere, that you retweet it. You otherwise talk about it, spread media about it.
Yeah, we're gonna start expanding to Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I don't know about those two, maybe, but we're gonna basically the point is we're gonna start expanding a little more in the later months.
And absolutely send us fan art and engage. We're going to try to engage more with the audience, although we're a small team trying to make a game, so we can really to pay someone just to run the social media. But
Yeah.
And even already, we have lots of fun, artwork KKM has done that could be retweeted.
yeah, exactly.
I love the Christmas pictures.
all the wallpapers and all that. It's all for you guys to use and to share and to read. And I'm kind of thinking already in the future, the games are a success, the fans in 2025 are gonna be able to go like, oh, there's already all this artwork and all that. But first, in the present, just feel free to repost and spread and talk about it and have fun sharing it, make your fan characters, make whatever, just go wild and have fun.
Yeah, as you said, Wonderworld seems pretty open, huh? Like
Oh yeah.
as a world, yeah.
It's a very blank canvas, which I think is going to allow for a lot of creativity, and I think that's what makes it so fun to work on.
Yeah, honestly, just like the ideas that we fling back and forth, like I just think about them, just like, yeah, we've set ourselves up quite well here, I think.
So I don't know how accurate it'd be, say, for Sonic Mania since you worked on it, but when you're spitballing certain things, I imagine they would have to be approved by like a higher up and another higher up. Like the marketing would have to say this or say that. Wouldn't it be something like that, or would I be wrong?
Yeah, naturally, when you're gonna deal with a group like Sega or Nintendo, Capcom, whoever, then you've got multiple layers that you would have to deal with regarding approvals and just how everything's set up and presented.
Yeah, so basically here you have an unfiltered gallery of creative minds with great talent who are all coming together and produce something uniquely unfiltered, but also level-headed enough to know what to keep out and what to keep in.
Right.
And I think that's what's making it work so far.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming on to talk about it. I had fun having you on.
Thank you for hosting us, Stealth, and thank you for hosting the demo.
Yeah, this
That's
was
that's very helpful.
No problem.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew you guys needed a different place to put it, like just something that was more streamlined, specialized. Yep, I could say that too.
I love the website design. We gotta
Yes.
like incorporate a similar design philosophy towards our final website. Like the foundation's already there. We just gotta finish it up. I think you also said it was like made a certain way that's not as what it was like not as sturdy or something.
Oh, the one that we currently using was made with a WYSIWYG, so it was just made with the with getting this web page done in mind. So for later, we'd have to start like the same design could be used if you were saying that you'd like that. We just have to start over with some
But at
more.
least there's a template now.
Yeah,
Because I was
just
talking with
something
you
to look
about
at and see what's going to be done with it.
Yeah, 'cause I was talking with you about it. I hadn't really talked to KKM yet, but we gotta design a website soon. But since we're trying to wrap things up, I'll talk to him about that a little later.
Okay.
No,
Anything else you want? Anything? What?
You were going to, or you had said to me. I hope I'm not out of line saying this about expanding the website to basically give some more detail on the Wonder World story.
Yeah.
Have some more stuff about it.
Having all of them in one package.
Yeah.
As like a consistent Wonder World brand, if you may.
Yeah. Like as you can see in the subdomain right now, wonderworld.headcanon.com.
Which, I mean, it's all the same narrative. It's like basically lumping the Oz books into one brand.
Yeah.
And then, like, you could say, like, Return to Oz, kind of like its own little sub-brand with its own characters. Wizard of Oz, that has its own characters and stuff. But I think that's all I got for today. Anything else you got for us this evening still?
Nope. I think that would be it. But if you guys want to have another stream at some point, that'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'd be up for it. This was a blast.
The next time we gotta like pick like a bunch of random games, just like ramble over.
Okay.
Fodder ideas for Sage 2020, perhaps. ...
Okay. So yeah, I can have you guys to chat with some random games. If you do come up with some more stuff that you want to present for Sandro, Kyle, and Lucy, I can run a stream for that too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I
And
want to say thank you to everyone who was in the stream, in the chat, stuck around.
thanks to all of you. This was a fun time. Good way for me to get back into streaming too after
Oh yeah.
the Kappa scare thing.
Yeah, that sure was like a. The only thing, to me, the only casualty is we lost the comment section. I love reading people's weird remarks on things.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Well, thanks again for coming by. Thanks again for doing such a great job with these two games, and thanks to
Thank you.
everybody who stopped into the sit and listen to us babble like I'm doing right now.
I mean, we only lost 4 to 5 viewers, so we must have been doing something right.
Yeah.
We still kept the majority.
Well, I guess that's going to be it for now, and once again, thanks to everybody, and I will see you. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, self. Have a good evening.
You too.
Yeah.